Hey Fishhunter fans, today's video is about creating a bathymetric map, and we're doing it live here on the water, and we're going to show you what it looks like. First thing you're going to want to do when you're creating a bathymetric map is make sure you're connected your Wi-Fi to the actual Fishhunter sonar. I'm going to go in my Wi-Fi settings and I can see that I'm connected. So that looks great. I've got the check mark, so I can go back into the app and I can open up in the app the actual sonar section. So I'll go into the sonar section. I'm going to choose the sonar I have. I'm using the 3D version today, and then I'm going to go into start fishing. Once I'm in start fishing, I'm looking for bathymetric maps. I'm going to click on bathymetric maps, and you can see on the screen on the left hand side are all the previous maps I've made, and you can actually show those on a map. I'll show you that in a few minutes, but I'm actually going to create a new map by just clicking on the new map area. When you click on that, it's going to check my GPS coordinates to find me on the lake, and I'm going to click OK. Now it's going to look to connect with the actual Fishhunter sonar and give it the right settings for this water depth, which it's now doing. I can see my sonar display is now on the right hand side of the screen, so I can click the next, and it says it's ready to go. I can actually start creating the bathymetric map. I'm going to show you a couple other features here on the screen. First of all, I'm going to show you that you can actually go to full screen mode if you'd like to see it on the full screen. If you just want to follow your boat around, I'm going to show you why that's useful. And you can go back to the split screen view where you actually have the sonar display. I've zoomed in there, and you can actually do the same thing on this side of the screen. You can zoom in or you can zoom out to see where the shoreline is, so you can keep your eye as you're building your bathymetric maps on the best line to actually create that bathymetric map. Now I'm actually creating the map, and I've got a good sonar display on the other side. I'm going to get rid of the sonar display because I'm not too concerned about that while I'm creating my map. I'm going to create my map first, and then I'm going to study the areas to see if there's something that's worth coming back to after I finish building my contour map. So the first thing I'm going to want to do, once I've got it all set up and going, is I'm going to want to actually start taking my boat, canoe, or kayak across the area that's of interest to me. So you can see on this particular map, I have the shoreline, on one side, and I've got the open water on the other side. So this is an area that I'm interested in taking a look at. You can also see here that I've got the depth in the bottom left hand corner that's showing up, that's coming from my sonar, so that gives me a sense for how deep this water is as I move along. And I'm trolling here with an electric motor, so I'm not going too fast. I'm probably going about 1.5 miles, 2 miles an hour as I build this map. Now you can see as the map starts to build here slowly that I have a red line behind the boat, and that's my path, or the line that I'm taking as I move across the water in my boat, and those are the GPS coordinates. So what I'm going to want to do is, as I map this area here, I'm going to want to go out, and then I'm going to want to take another turn, and I want to go back. And you'll clearly see as you start doing this yourself that what you want to do is you want to space the different passes of the boat across the area that you're mapping in the most efficient manner possible. And so what you're going to realize as you practice yourself, depending on the speed of your boat and the water you want to survey or take the contour of, you actually have to turn and just leave your boat going for a few minutes to get the best possible angle, and to get the best possible distance, to make sure you don't make your turns too tight and you're overlapping, and they're not too big, and you're left with gaps in the actual map. You have some other options here in bathymetric maps. As you build your map, you can see on the right hand side you have your menu button. So clearly, if you're going to be in very shallow water, you can watch your shallow water video. You can clearly choose shallow water mode, and that's going to give you the best performance of your sonar in the shallow water mode. The other thing that's a very interesting point on this scale is changing the actual scale of the map. So if you move from 5 to 1, you can actually change the color scheme. So I'm actually in pretty shallow water, so it's kind of useful for me to have it in the lowest possible scale. You can see that I have 7 to 13 feet, and I've got about 13 to 20. As you go into deeper water, you can change the scale, and you can get all of one color. So this is a great tool for you to be able to actually see and quickly make adjustments to being able to see the scale or the actual water depth as contours as you get closer to areas of interest. So now let's make a big turn here and see how we look on the map as we turn towards the shore and create, and map out this area here. contour map of the area. Now we can obviously fill in all the rest of these different areas here and get a much bigger map, but I'm not going to do that in today's video. I'm going to zoom out a little bit so I can see my screen on the other side. Still have a very good display here of the Fishhunter showing me the bottom contour. Pretty flat in this area, not too much to look at really for this area. So we can get out of this screen as well, and once we leave this screen, you know, you use the standard X button to actually exit the screen, and this will automatically be saved in that list that I'm going to show you in a minute. So let's take a look at that list and exit out. So we exit out of this, it's going to return to the main screen here, and you can see here September, that's the map that I just made today, so it's already saved in my list. Now if I want to take a look at that, I can actually show it on a map. It's going to zoom in and I can take a look at all of the bathymetric maps that I've created. In red here is the last map I created, so that's the one that I just created just a few minutes ago. And if I want to actually go back and take a look at that map, I can just click on that and it's going to reload the map that we just saw us make together as a group, and you can see that's the path that we are on, and if we want to change that, we can move the scale down, and that's exactly what we just saw on the other screen. So there's the map bringing back from the list by seeing it on an actual map view and finding it and bringing it back on the screen. And you'll actually be able to see here that there's a continue button. So if I wanted to add to this map now and do the rest of this pass, or if I want to do it in the next couple days, I can just hit that continue button. It's going to go through the same process it went through before. It's going to look to accept, you know, my connection, make sure I've got the right GPS. It already has a sonar connected here, and now as I actually move the boat again, it's going to start adding to the existing map that I had already created, and I'm going to be able to actually go ahead and add to that map. In addition here, you can see that there's a little spot here that I might want to fill in if I haven't done my passes. I was a little wide on the pass there. If I want to fill that in, I can actually go back, open this map, and you can see I've just taken my boat across it, and I filled in that area on the map. So it's been really cool to take a look at this map. In some cases, one of the other really neat features is the ability to actually look on the map and just put your finger on the map, and it's going to bring up the depth of that portion of the actual map, and it's also going to tell you what the sonar display is. See my sonar display on the right hand side, you're going to see that changes. Just by pushing your finger on it, you're going to get the actual sonar display that was from that point that the map made when it was covering that area. And you can also take a look at some of your other maps. There may be maps that are more interesting than the one I just showed you, so I have some other maps saved here. I think this is a good spot. I'm between two islands here, and it goes quite deep to shallow in this area. So I think it's quite useful to have the ability to actually pull up a map, and you can see the different colorations here, and this is on the largest scale, so you can know that this is 132 feet when I go out here, and I can change that scale just by moving it in and really focus on the shallow parts. So if we left it in that higher area and we come out of the view there, we can move this around, and we actually just point on this 100 feet area and see if we can see any fish arcs, or see if we can see any change in the bottom contour. Maybe there's something that is of interest to us as we look at the end point on the map. So that's nice. I can see there's a couple of rocks coming out of the water here. So just a great opportunity to actually choose your finger, click on a portion of the screen that you want to see, and see it on the right hand side of your screen in bathymetric maps.